and say, what they what? I know that's what God said. I mean, I know y'all type ready to fly the plane, but I own a plane, and I think I'm going to fly it home. No. No. That's how people get hurt. It's the same way in our Christian walk.
Amen.
Like one man said, oh, I tell you what, I can do what that preacher. I can preach. No, you can't. You can talk. You can't preach. Preaching is life.
Yeah.
You can talk. Just because you quote a scripture means nothing. So can the devil.
Right.
He quoted the scripture to Jesus. He said, why don't you jump off this pinnacle? The Bible said the angels will give you charge over. Oh, he's quoting scripture, but he can't preach.
Yeah. Come on.
Preaching is life. Teaching is life.
Yeah.
Talking is exactly what it is. Talking. That you might know him. Are y'all enjoying this?
Amen.
I want you to think a little. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to quote. Never, ever let someone look down at you because you live in West Columbia, surrounding area, little small town thinking. That's ridiculous. Out of 7 billion people on this planet, God chose Bobby. Bobby, what's the odds of that? Memoirs. God chose Jesse. Watch this. God chose you. He didn't care what color you were. He didn't care if you was tall, skinny, or a head full of hair. Now you get that all fixed, you know that. They got places to fix all that now. So they can put a hairline right here, but next to your eyebrows if you want. They can fix all that. It's a little money, but it can be done, especially in Houston. It doesn't make no difference to me. I had a friend of mine one time, he was worried about losing hair. He said, I said, why don't you just go to Houston and get one of them Bosnia jars? Bosnia or something? I said, yeah, put that hair back on your head. He said, I've already been there. Oh, forget what I just said. I didn't know he had ran out of source material. Now, I don't know what that means. I think if you got a lot of hair on your sides and back here, they can just, they can do all that stuff. It's amazing. That's great. Hey, that's fine with me. People say, I think that's just arrogance. No, you just want, I mean, if you don't have any teeth, get some. That's cosmetic. I don't want to be walking around and I look at you and I can't, there's a cave by your nose. Put some teeth in your mouth. So if you want to get one of these things, get rid of this. You can clip this baby out, just suck it out and clip it. If that's what you want. You want to get rid of those very close veins? You get that fixed. It's amazing what they can do. But you can't admit it made no difference to me. You do whatever you want. I had a friend of mine, I closed again, my last closing. And he was a man. He must have just had some Botox. I said, how you doing, man? He goes, he couldn't move his eyebrow. I said, you did something. I noticed his lip was up about an extra inch. I said, that's okay, man. Go ahead, you're all right, you're all right. Can you tell? Oh, no. It's okay with me. That's what you like, fine. See, I've learned something about black people. I found this out the other day. See, that's so, just because somebody's black don't mean you think you know something about black people. There's a whole other culture going on with black people. I had a black guy work for me. I got a black girl working for me. Her name is Jill. He walks up to me and says this. You see Jill? I said, yeah. I've been knowing Jill a long time. I've been working with her. She got good hair. Oh, what does that mean? I said, what? She got good hair. I said, well, isn't all hair good? Oh, no, not all hair is good. She got good hair. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know what that means. And she goes, but every black person in my ministry knew exactly what he was talking about. I had no concept. I never think of people's hair. Is your hair good? I never think of it. That don't cross my mind. Is your hair good? And she got good hair. I'm still trying to figure it out. So one day I went, okay. And I just had that confused look on my face. And I said, Jill, do you know what he's talking about? She said, yeah. But it don't make no difference, just it's a black thing. I said, well, okay. Whatever. Good hair. I thought all hair was good if you didn't have any. That's all good. Makes sense to me. Oh, I mean, you know, I still don't want to know that. Don't need to. I said that must be some culture back there. He said, yeah, that's a little culture. She said, that's a little culture. But I noticed that curly head women want straight hair. Straight hair women want curly hair. Nobody ever satisfied with what they got. Bobby will take any kind of hair. Must be on his mind or something. I don't know. It don't matter. I think you got full head of hair. Bobby, you all right? Don't worry about it. I give him all. It don't make no difference. He said, "Do you want brown hair? I'm gonna get brown hair when I go to heaven." I can't dye my hair. I did try it once. It came out blue. I look like one of them grandmas with blue hair. And the other day I was at TV and I said, I don't want pink hair like Jan. Or purple. I want that. In other words, I'm satisfied. Because I know him. And the power of his resurrection. Did you enjoy it this morning? Just a minute before I pray for you, we're going to receive our offering for our ministry. How many of you get my partner letter? Look at the people here, West Columbia. How many of you get my magazine? Thank you. If you read our magazine or you read my partner letter, if you're not a partner, you ought to pray about coming one, because that partner letter is a good letter. It's a word from God. I had a lady tell me this the other day. She said, well, Jesse, every time I read that letter, I can hear you talking. I said, you know why? I wrote it. You'd be surprised how many ministers don't write those letters. They don't. They get companies to do that. Well, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying, you know, most of President Obama's speeches are not wrote by him. They're speech writers. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they know what he believes in, so they write, and they write the speech, and he delivers the speech. You didn't know that? Most presidents do not. Most of them, they said, but Bill Clinton wrote most of his own speeches. And so did Ronald Reagan. Wrote most of their own speeches. Now, they had some speech writing, you know, doing the grammar part of it. But they did most of it handwritten, and they put it on. But this ministry is literally doing things I never thought 32 years ago when I first came here that it's doing. It's because of wonderful partners and friends like you. I want to read something to you. How many of you get my magazine? You know, in that magazine they have all these projects and things. We have about $11.3 million in projects this year. And we're still working on the $3 million project from last year. So you add that, 11, 12, 13.3. I got to read something to you, partners. I want you to listen to this. We have a project called Project Broadcast Earth. It's costing us $5 million. This is above the normal operating budget of our ministry. This is our television thing. Listen to this. Project Broadcast Earth is using every opportunity to broadcast the gospel through TV, internet, social media, and more. Our weekly broadcast reaches over 106 million households in the United States. Watch this. We will preach come Friday by 5 o'clock to 2.9 billion people worldwide. Now you are doing this, not me. I'm just doing work. We're airing, as Pastor Bob said earlier, in 391 countries. Here's the statistic that blew me away. JBM on satellite reaches every inch of the planet Earth. Give Jesus a hand clap. I'm getting letters from the North Pole and the South Pole. I thought, what? Asking me to come preach. There ain't nothing up there but polar bears. But there's scientists that are doing all kinds of experiments and things. And they catch me on satellite. They said, you know what? I wonder if he would come. I've been wanting to go to the North Pole and the South Pole all my life. So boys, get ready. We got to go up there and see that. 70 below zero. I'm going to look like a penguin when I go up there. I can't imagine that. I mean, you know, 6 months of solid darkness and 6 months of solid light. We cover every square inch of the planet. You You in West Columbia did that. Listen, when you get to heaven, you'd have been supporting me all these years. You get the crown, not me. I just did the work. Listen to this. In 2011, we totaled 2,080 hours of preaching. That's 40 hours a week of preaching on JDM TV. All over the world. Okay, we broke this thing down to what it would cost us. We're believing God for 5,000 people. That's over $1,000. That's $5 million. That takes care of all that. We have a number called Project Publish the Word. How many of you get my magazine? We send it free to 3.7 million people. Persons. That's not counting families. For a $100 seed today, if you sow this to what Project Publish the Word, we can send the Voice of God magazine in 20 homes and prisons for 1 whole year. Now, I spent $1.5 million last year in printing. I spent $100,000 a month in stamps. And the post office is broke. How can the post office be broke? I spent $100,000 a month. Stamps. That ain't counting bulk rates and all this kind of stuff to preach the gospel. You may want to be a part of that. Here's another. Listen to this, man. I love this one here. Ooh, let me turn it over. Yeah. Which one it is? Right here, yeah. It's called Project Legacy. Now this here is amazing. Get that right here. How many of you ever heard of Johnny Carson? I Love Lucy, Star Trek. Hollywood has been saying this for years, that the movies that they made in the 20s and the 30s are decaying in the vaults because they're on different kinds of film and things. Well, I just found out, and I say found out about maybe 3 months ago, that I have over 8,000 sermons in the vaults that are decaying. I found out we had a lady call us from Australia and asked if she could get a copy of the sermon that I preached in 1978. The one that she heard me preach, so she'd like for her children to hear the sermon that she got born again. We went to get the thing. When we put it on, it began to break up. We had to stop it because it's decaying. And it dawned on me. They said, we need to preserve these things. Years ago, they couldn't do it. Now the technology has finally arrived that we can preserve every message. Just like Hollywood's preserving all the film and the TV people. For a church, they said, I want my children to hear the sermon I preached, that you preached that got me saved, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren. So she sent a check for $15,000 to preserve messages. That's called Project Legacy. We figured it out. It cost $375 to preserve one message. That's amazing to me. That's a total cost of $3 million. We believe in God for 8,000 people to give $375 to restore one tape for our children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. Think about this. Your grandchildren would have your daddy, your father, BB, preaching in that church, just like he was when he was young. They didn't have the technology back then. They do now. So if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to give graciously, and you can figure it out. You might be one of these $375 givers. You may be one of these $1,000 givers. Whatever, however you work it, I'll leave that to you. Glory to God. I mean, there's just so many different things to give to. I'm amazed at this. So I ask you to do your best, because 100% of it's going into these world evangelism projects that preach the gospel to the world. We also have Project Donor Direct, which we're paying for right now. I believe in God for 300 people to give $1,000, because our computers are wonderful, but because so many people are calling out ministry. We had to pull a receptionist the other day from Covenant Church just to handle what was coming in. We average about 6,000 phone calls a week, about 4,500 people getting born again every week. What happened is the software package is breaking down. So as I'm speaking right now, they're in Dallas working on this. So we can have it ready for July, so we can launch it, called Project Donor Direct. That way, if 7 billion people write us, we got it. But right now we have to put like technological stilts and need to keep the thing from caving because of the amount of people that are calling our ministry.